This video contains a truth that has changed many people's lives. If you have ever felt stuck, please leave a comment in the comment section. Have you ever stood in front of the mirror and wondered, when did I start looking so tired? Maybe your joints creak a little more than they used to. Maybe you're not bouncing back like you did even just a few years ago. It's not vanity, it's human. And let me tell you something from over 30 years of helping folks just like you. You're not alone. Aging is a privilege, but that doesn't mean we want to feel older than we are. Truth is, some of what we think is just aging is actually something we can do something about. You see, there are a few sneaky little habits, what I like to call aging accelerators, that tend to creep in after 70. These things can make us feel older, more tired, and even shorten our healthy years without us realizing it. But the good news is, once you spot them, you can absolutely turn things around. Today, we're going to talk about how to stay younger inside and out by avoiding just for simple things. They may seem small, but trust me, they have a big impact on how you feel, move, and live each day. And no, this isn't about buying expensive creams or supplements. It's about what you do day in and day out that determines whether you're aging with grace or speeding up the clock. And before we dive in, I want to invite you to share in the comments what challenges you're facing right now. Whether it's trouble sleeping, low energy, or nagging aches and pains, let me know. I read every comment, and I'd love to support you however I can. Alright, let's get into the first aging accelerator, and this one might surprise you. Neglecting muscle strength. You might think, I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder at this age. But hear me out. After 70, we naturally lose muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia, and it happens faster than most people realize. It's not just about looking firm or toned. It's about your independence, your balance, your metabolism, and yes, your longevity. When muscles weaken, everyday activities get harder. Standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, even just walking across the room. What used to feel easy starts to feel like a chore. You move less because it's harder, and that leads to even more muscle loss. It's a quiet cycle that chips away at your confidence and quality of life. But here's the thing, you can build muscle at any age. I've seen 80-year-olds who never exercised a day in their life start small, just lifting light hand weights a few times a week or doing simple chair exercises, and within weeks, their balance improves. They're standing taller. Their joints ache less. Their energy returns. One of my favorite stories is of a gentleman named Harold, 76 years old, who came into my clinic complaining of weakness and constant fatigue. We didn't change his diet. We didn't add medications. We just introduced light resistance training 3 times a week, using nothing more than resistance bands and some soup cans from his pantry. 3 months later, he was walking without his cane and even started dancing again with his wife. That's the power of strength. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need consistency. Your muscles are like your savings account. The more you put in now, the more you'll be able to draw from later. Now, let's talk about another habit that sneaks into our lives quietly, but carries a big punch. Skipping social connection. Now I know what you're thinking. I don't need to be surrounded by people all the time. And that's fair. But let me tell you something. Loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a health risk. Studies show that chronic loneliness can be as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I know that's a bold statement, but the research is clear. Isolation leads to higher rates of depression, anxiety, cognitive decline, and even heart disease. But here's the kicker, it's not about how many people you have around you. It's about meaningful connection. Do you have someone you can talk to about your day? Someone who checks in on you? Someone who listens? I've had patients in their 70s and 80s who told me they felt more alone after retirement than they ever expected. Their kids were busy, their friends had moved or passed on, and they just stopped reaching out. That's when things started to decline. Not physically at first, but emotionally. And when your emotional health slips, the rest follows. But just like with muscle strength, you can change this. Maybe you call an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. Maybe you join a small group at your local community center, even if it's just once a week. Or maybe you start having lunch with a neighbor or chatting with someone after church. One woman I worked with, Linda, felt isolated after her husband passed. She didn't want to join a big group, So she started volunteering once a week at a local thrift store. It gave her purpose. She made new friends. Her sleep improved, her appetite came back, and she smiled again. Not because she had dozens of friends, but because she had connection. If you're watching this and you feel alone, please don't keep it to yourself. Say something in the comments. Let's be each other's support system. You'd be amazed at how much healing happens just by feeling seen and heard. Now that we've talked about the physical and emotional habits that can speed up aging, we're going to shift gears a little, because next, we're diving into something that impacts both your body and your mind, something so common. It might be happening to you every single night without you even realizing it. So let's talk about something that doesn't just make you feel older, it steals your energy, messes with your mood, and quietly wears down your immune system. I'm talking about poor sleep. Now, I know sleep can be tricky after 70. You might fall asleep easily, but wake up 2 or 3 times a night. Maybe you wake up too early, or just don't feel rested in the morning, even after 8 hours in bed. That's not just annoying, it's a warning sign. Because here's the truth, sleep isn't just about rest. It's when your brain heals, your cells repair, and your body resets. If you're waking up groggy every day or feeling like you need a nap by 10 a.m., your body is telling you something's off. And unfortunately, a lot of folks start accepting bad sleep as just part of getting older. But it doesn't have to be that way. I've seen people in their 70s and 80s regain solid, restful sleep, and it changes everything. Their memory gets sharper, their mood lifts, their blood pressure improves, even their skin starts to glow again. Sleep is that powerful. One big culprit: overstimulation at night. Watching the news right before bed, checking your phone, or even having the lights too bright in your house after dinner can confuse your body into thinking it's still daytime. Your brain needs signals to produce melatonin, the sleep hormone, and those glowing screens and bright lights keep that switch turned off. Try this: about 2 hours before bed, dim your lights, turn off the TV, and put down the phone. Read a book, do a puzzle, listen to some soft music. Let your body settle into calm. If your mind tends to race at bedtime, try writing down your thoughts in a notebook before you lie down. It helps more than you think. And please, don't just pop a sleeping pill every night and hope for the best. Most of those medications were never designed for long-term use in older adults. They can increase your risk of falls, confusion, and memory problems. Natural sleep routines built slowly and consistently work far better in the long run. I had a patient named Carol who told me she hadn't had a good night's sleep in over 15 years. She was tired, irritable, and couldn't focus on anything. We didn't do anything drastic. We just set up a relaxing bedtime routine, limited her caffeine, and gave her body permission to rest naturally. Within weeks, she was sleeping through the night and feeling like herself again. She told me, "I thought I was just getting old, but I was just tired." You deserve restful, healing sleep. It's not a luxury. It's your body's foundation for staying young. Now, there's one more aging accelerator we need to talk about, and this one hides in plain sight. It creeps into your routine slowly, and before you know it, you're feeling stiff, heavy, and foggy. And you might not even connect it to what's really causing the problem. I'm talking about processed food. Yep, that convenient little snack bar or healthy-looking frozen dinner might be doing more harm than good. After 70, your digestion slows down, your cells don't repair as quickly, and your blood sugar becomes more sensitive. That means your body isn't as forgiving with processed food as it used to be. Things like added sugars, refined carbs, and preservatives don't just affect your weight, they fuel inflammation. And chronic inflammation is one of the leading causes of joint pain, fatigue, memory loss, and even heart disease in older adults. Think of it like this: your body is a beautiful machine, and the fuel you give it determines how well it runs. If you keep pouring sugar and chemicals into the engine, things start breaking down. Now, I'm not saying you have to go on some extreme diet or give up all your favorite foods. That's not realistic and honestly not necessary. But small changes make a huge difference. Start by drinking more water. Add 1 extra serving of vegetables each day. Swap out white bread for whole grain. Choose whole, colorful foods that you can recognize, things that came from the earth, not a factory. I had a gentleman named Thomas, 82 years old, who loved his morning pastries and microwave dinners. He didn't want to give them up, but we started slowly. He swapped his breakfast pastry for oatmeal with berries. Instead of frozen lasagna, he started cooking simple meals with lean protein and fresh veggies. 3 months later, he dropped 12 pounds. His blood pressure came down, and he told me, "I feel like I got a second chance." Food is medicine. Real food gives your body what it needs to fight aging from the inside out. And when you start treating your body with the care it deserves, it responds. I want you to think about something right now. Which of these habits feels most familiar to you? Is it the restless nights, the lack of movement, the loneliness, the meals that come from a box instead of the kitchen? Whatever it is, I want you to know this: it's never too late. I've seen incredible transformations in people who once believed they were too old to change. You're not. You're still here. That means your body still wants to heal, to move, to thrive. But it starts with recognizing these aging accelerators and choosing little by little to let them go. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. If something I've said today struck a chord with you, leave a comment. Tell me what you're working on. Ask questions. Share your experience. We're building a community here, and you're part of it. Let's keep this momentum going, because there's one more piece of this puzzle. One final habit that could be holding you back, one that often goes unnoticed, but can quietly affect your motivation, your health, and your sense of purpose. And I promise, once you become aware of it, everything starts to shift. There's one more aging accelerator we need to talk about, and it's not about what you eat or how much you sleep. It's about your mindset. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, "Oh great, here comes the motivational fluff," stay with me for a moment, because what I'm about to share might be the most important thing of all. I've worked with thousands of people over the years, and do you want to know the biggest difference I've seen between those who age well and those who seem to decline rapidly? It's not money. It's not even genetics. It's attitude. Specifically, whether someone still believes they have a purpose. You see, the moment you start telling yourself, "I'm too old for that," you're sending a message to every cell in your body. We're done growing. We're done learning. We're shutting down. And your body listens. But when you stay curious, when you wake up with something to look forward to, whether it's a walk with a friend, a creative project, a garden, or just a good book, you activate something incredible inside you. You stimulate your brain, you boost your immune system, and you lower your risk of depression and cognitive decline. Purpose isn't something big and flashy. It doesn't have to be saving the world or running marathons. It's personal. It's meaningful to you. And that can be as simple as calling your grandchild once a week, starting a new recipe, writing down your life story, volunteering a few hours a month, even learning a new skill. Yes, especially after 70 lights up areas of your brain that literally keep you younger. And that's not just theory, that's neuroscience. There was a woman named Maria, 74 years old, who decided to learn how to paint for the first time in her life. She said she always loved colors, but was afraid she wouldn't be good at it. You know what happened? Within 6 months, not only was she painting every weekend, but her memory improved, her sleep got better, and she felt alive again. Not because of the paint, but because she believed it wasn't too late. Here's the thing, you are still becoming. No matter your age, there is still more of your story to write. And when you approach life with curiosity, with openness, and yes, with purpose, you defy every stereotype about aging. So let's bring it all together. Avoiding the 4 major aging accelerators: isolation, poor sleep, processed food, and a defeated mindset isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about gently nudging yourself back toward habits that heal, rather than habits that wear you down. And you don't need to do it all at once. Pick one, just one. Maybe this week, you go for a 10-minute walk, or you call an old friend, or you replace one processed snack with a handful of fresh berries. Or maybe you just tell yourself, "I'm not done yet." Because you're not. Your best years don't have to be behind you. They can still be ahead if you choose them. And if this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What's one thing you're doing this week to stay younger inside and out? Or what's one habit you're ready to let go of? And hey, if you know someone who needs to hear this today, send it to them. You never know how powerful one little spark of encouragement can be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing growth. And remember, you're not too old, and it's not too late.